Hi, parents. I hope that you are having an amazing day. This is CEO Ty with Educationally Speaking Center for Learning, and we are the bridge that connects the child to the curriculum. So I'm looking back and forth because I'm actually on two devices. I cannot believe it. Summer is literally over. It's almost time for your children to go back to school. And for some of you, school has already started. I cannot believe it. Some people have already gone back to school. So the summer has come and gone, and now you're faced with getting the uniforms, getting all of the school supplies, thinking about what's next for your child, and just trying to make sure that you're managing this school year and that it's going to be a great school year. So I just wanted to pour into you quickly and just quickly encourage you and remind you, whether your child is going to public, private, charter, or homeschool, you want to make sure that you are prepared for the school year and that you're preparing your child for the school year. So I wanted to go over a few tips to assist you. And I know, the beginning of the school year can be frustrating, even though I'm homeschooling my girls and I am a veteran educator. It's still frustrating for me because every year it's a new school year. It's new standards, and you just want to make sure that your child is getting the best education that they can receive, and you want to make sure that they're not behind, that they're not struggling, and again, that they're receiving the best and that they are able to access the curriculum. So the first thing that I want you to do is to create a routine or a schedule. A lot of people don't follow a schedule. They just go with the flow, and it's like, okay, I'm going to do this day and this the next day, and there is no rhythm in your household. When you create a rhythm, it sets a standard in your house, or routine. It sets the standard in your house, so your kids are familiar with the routine and they know that, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so when they become familiar with the routine, it's second nature to them, and they're able to flow through the day without being stressed. They're able to flow through the day without becoming, frustrated or having anxiety, because they already know the expectations that you set in the household, and they already know the flow of your house. Hey, welcome, guys. So the first thing, again, that I want you to do is set the routine for your house. It will help your house run so smoothly. If you have been following me on social media, when I started, I have a schedule on my board that the girls follow, and I try to stick to the schedule. Now, things happen. That's life. Life happens. But you want to make sure that you create that schedule, that routine, and you stick to it as much as possible, because you will see your children become acclimated to that routine that you set, and it will assist them and it will help them become organized in the long run. A lot of children that I see in classrooms that are unorganized and that's just scattered, you see their folders everywhere, and sometimes that is an issue. If a child has ADD or ADHD, that is an organization issue, but other times you can fix that at home by, teaching them how to be organized and setting that routine or that schedule for them. So number one, create a routine for your children as you're going back to school. It creates structure. Number two, what I want you to do is become familiar with the standards. One of the philosophies at Educationally Speaking is that we're moving from excuses to excellence. Gone are the days where, as parents, because I'm speaking to myself as well, as parents, that we continue to make excuses for our children. Like, we have to stop that. We cannot do that. We cannot continue to make excuses for our children, because at the end of the day, excuses will get us nowhere. We have to make sure that we're diligent about teaching our children and making sure that we understand the standards. We cannot rely on the school system to teach us the standards. Google has to be our best friend, and you have to make sure that you're visiting your state's website, Georgia Department of well, I'm saying Georgia because I live in Georgia, but your Department of Education. Visit the websites because the standards are linked on the website, or you can just Google the standards Common Core for your state, and it will give you a list of standards. In addition to that, if you are in Georgia, I have already done that for you. If you go to my blog, educationallyspeaking.blog, the standards are listed for you in reading and in writing by grade level. So I've already done the work. All you have to do is go to the blog, click on that link, and then it will be there for you. So number one, again, I want you to create a routine. And number two, as a parent, I need you to become familiar with this standard so that you won't have any excuses. And a lot of times the standards can be vague, so it'll list it. And because you're not an educator, you don't understand what the entire standard entails, and that is okay. That is when you go to the teacher and say, listen, I pulled this standard. Can you, talk to me about the standard? Can you tell me, just go in depth about the standard? The standards are many. How do we sift through it all? Again, I can go through that with you, but the piece of advice that I would give you again is to go through the standard and then talk to the teacher about it. But we can have a consultation and I can go through the standards with you. They're simple standards, but again, some of them go more in depth, and as educators, we'll know exactly what to teach the child. So a parent looking at it, it may say the child has to be familiar with the base 10, but we know the child has to be familiar with base 10 in expanded, standard, and written form. They have to be able to add using base 10s, subtract using base 10, so it goes more in depth with that. So number one, again, and I know I keep repeating myself, but for those of you who are popping in, create a routine. It creates structure. Number two, become familiar with the standard. Number three, I want you to go to the school and schedule a pre-conference with the teacher. You want to make sure that you're creating a village concept. You want the teacher to say, I know this parent is serious about their child's education, because before we even send out notifications for a conference, the parent is coming to me and saying, listen, you're going to have my child for 180 days this school year, and you're not doing this by yourself. We are a team. We are the village. And as much as I want my child to succeed, I want you as the teacher to make sure that you know that I want my child to succeed, because it's a two-way thing. The teacher, even though they're educated and they're called to that position, they are not the entire teacher for your child. You have to also play that role as the parent teacher in your household. So make sure you have a pre-conference. And when you have that pre-conference with the teacher, what you're doing is you're setting the tone for the school year. You're setting the expectations. You're letting the teacher know, listen, I don't play about my child, but what we're going to do is we're going to have an amazing school year. So have a pre-conference so that you can set the tone and set the expectation. So that's number three. Number four, I want you to set the tone in your house. And so that's different than setting the tone in the classroom, because when you set the tone in your household, you're calling forth what you expect for the school year. You're making sure that you're speaking life into your child. You're making sure that you're encouraging them. You're making sure that you're setting a positive tone, a positive atmosphere for your house. So you're not speaking negative things over your child. Even though your child may have a deficit, you're not saying, oh, this is another school year, we have to work through this. What you're saying is, I understand that you have not reached a certain milestone yet, but you are going to get there, because it's all about the growth mindset, with your child. So you have to make sure that you're speaking life into them. You have to make sure that you're saying, you may not, be able to get that additional reading problem, or you may not be able to read a chapter book right now, but we're working towards that. And mommy and daddy, we're so proud of what you're doing or where you are right now. And you're going to get there. It's just going to take you a little longer, and that's okay because everybody doesn't learn at the same pace. So again, you want to make sure that you're speaking life into them and reminding your child that they're able to do anything. So number one, create a routine for the structure. Number two, become familiar with the standards, because you don't ever want to say that you don't know what's going on in the classroom. Number three, have a pre-conference. And number four, set the tone in your household. Number five, I want you to check your backpacks. A lot of parents will say, well, I didn't know. No, that is not an excuse. Check your child's backpack. A lot of the correspondence comes home in their folder. So the papers are in their folder. I want you to open up their folder, go through their backpack every day. And this is a part of the routine so that your child will know, I have to, make sure that I give my parents my papers. And if they don't give you the papers, then you're going through their backpack and you're pulling the papers for yourself. A lot of super organized moms, and I'm not this mom, may have a basket where you put the papers at home that your child needs you to see. So whatever works for your family works for your family. But I just want to make sure that you are diligent about checking your child's backpack so that you don't miss anything that's going on during the school year. In addition to that, make sure you're checking your child's grades, because they may not bring their report card home, but there is Infinite Campus. So for us in Georgia, we use Infinite Campus. I don't know what your state may be using, but make sure that you're checking the grade portal so that you can stay abreast of what standards, because sometimes the teacher will input the standard. You want to make sure that you're staying abreast of the standards as well as your child's grades. You don't ever want to get to a grading period where you're receiving a progress report or a report card and you're saying, I didn't know my child is failing. No. You did know. Number one, you knew because you knew your child was struggling at home. Number two, you knew because you're checking the portal. So I don't ever want you to be that parent under my care and you're saying, I didn't know my child was failing. Yes, there are always signs. I don't want us to be the people to ignore the signs. I want us this year to be better. I want us to do what's right. So make sure you're checking the grade portals in their backpacks for progress reports, notes, and depending on the school, the teachers send home maybe something like a weekly wow for you to look at, or something every week so that you'll know what your child is doing. I know one of the children at my center, his teacher sends home a list of things that they're doing, the standard and the example under the standard. So, it's different for every school. So, and hopefully, you get that teacher that is that organized and that detailed. But if not, you have to do the work to make sure that you know what your child is doing during the school year. And lastly, I want you to breathe. Listen to me. School in itself is hard. It is a struggle. It's a struggle for your child. They're going through emotions. They're going through social, emotional, academic changes. It's a new school year, a new teacher. They have to get acclimated. They may have transitioned to a new school. We don't know. But what we do know is that if you breathe, as the mom or the dad, your child won't experience the anxiety, because again, going back to the note that I said, set the tone, they're not experiencing that anxiety. You want your child to be as chill and as peaceful as possible as they're entering into a new year, because you don't want them to have stress on top of trying to make new friends, on top of learning new standards, on top of, if they're in that testing grade, they're nervous about the test. You don't want to apply that extra pressure to that child. So again, I want you to breathe. I want you to understand that it is going to be okay. I want you to understand that this is going to be an amazing year, because If you set that tone and if you breathe and if you model the appropriate behavior, your child will be okay. I need you to rest, and I don't need you to worry about what's going on. And I know I said breathe, but lastly, if you find that your child is struggling, I need you to get them the help that they need. As I always tell you, I am a resource. Even if you do not use me for tutoring or as a resource, get your child the help that they need. You don't want to wait until the last minute and you're saying, oh my gosh, my child is struggling and it's at the 9th hour. What am I supposed to do? I don't want you to be that parent. I want you to stay a step ahead and make sure, again, that your child has all the necessary tools to access the curriculum. So if your child needs services for special ed, get them those services. If they need to be pulled out for EIP, allow your child to be pulled out. If they need tutoring, stop eating out 5 days a week and cut down to 2 days a week so that you can pour into your child and that you can get them the tutoring that they need. Just make the necessary, sacrifices so that your child can have access to the curriculum. And I know you keep hearing me say that, but it's so important. I cannot say that enough. If you have not done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Educationally Speaking Center for Learning. It's in the link in my bio on Instagram. You can search Educationally Speaking Center for Learning on YouTube. If you have not done so already, make sure you subscribe to our blog. They're free resources. I'm always blogging, educationallyspeaking.blog. If you need a consultation with me, the prices are on my website, educationallyspeaking.net. I have a lot of services and I am available for a consultation. And it's one-on-one, and I'm able to walk you through the process. Sit with your child, whether it's in Atlanta or virtual, to see what your needs are and to map out a plan for you so that your child can be successful. And if you need anything else, you can always email me, educatespeak@gmail.com, or you can DM me on here or just leave me a message. I'm always available. I'm always answering. I'm always making sure that I'm available so that you can have everything that you need to walk this journey with your child. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. If you can, please share this video with someone else. Apparently, I did not go live on Facebook, so I'm going to share this video on the Facebook page, Educationally Speaking, and you can go on there and share it as well. Thank you guys so much. Again, this is CEO Ty. I hope that you have a winning day.